movie, and it shows it was really god awful. So, the Omen trilogy deals with the tale of the Antichrist in human form, Damien Thorne. It follows him as as a young child of 5, then 13 years old, and to an adult of 30 years old. And funnily enough, it was weird because it was filmed over a short period of time. We're talking about, 1975, 78, 1980 perhaps. And the really bad thing is that it was the final conflict, the last in the trilogy. It was dealing with the Damien Thorne as an adult and a powerful individual, the ambassador of the US to the United Kingdom, and also he is a multi-millionaire. You don't see any evidence of anything like futuristic devices, futuristic clothing that should have reflected, the actual time. And I have seen and read comments about this. I mean, in Damien Omen 2, they actually had flipping snowmobiles at one point, which I thought, that's cool. It shows that time has travelled on a bit. And of course, the fact, he has come from a rich and powerful family. He hasn't, whereas you would think, to be a bit more believable, that, it's not as though he comes from, the Gorbals in Glasgow, wee Jock McPherson, or even, it could be even more believable if Damien Thorne was a Conservative MP that was educated at Eton. Hang on. David Cameron, could he possibly? Just write that down. There's David Cameron, the Antichrist. That's a possibility. So, as for the movie itself, it was written by a fairly good author. I've read the novels. David Seltzer, who wrote the first one, and based loosely upon the biblical Book of Revelation by St. John. I remember at the time, people were all het up about these movies because, same with The Exorcist, the Antichrist, devils, oh no. Well, what I find particularly entertaining is the fact that, as for the author of Revelation, St. John, he was in a little Greek island that grew, let's say, magical mushrooms, which he partook of, and the ideas that are actually in the Book of Revelation and the imagery, well, it is like someone who I would imagine that is on a little LSD trip. So I do find it really funny that, people are like, hindsight's a bitch, isn't it? So, sorry, back to the movie. It was good for its time. The effects, I still think, still look good. I recall reading David Warner, who played the photographer Jennings in the first movie, could not watch the scene where he is decapitated by a sheet of glass. Unfortunately for Mr. Warner, who I think is an absolutely fantastic actor, well, he must have, there was much more horror to come because he ended up in Star Trek 5. The casting of Sam Neill, another one of my favourite actors as Damien growing up, was a pretty good choice. However, I don't think he was directed very well. He was charming, menacing, but not what you would expect the son of Satan to be actually like. I just, there was just something a bit off about his performance. The fact, and apart from the story itself at the end, I mean, he gets stabbed in the back by, his girlfriend, and it just seems pretty lame. And a women reporter actually kills him. I mean, throughout the series, and this is the thing that really bothers me most now, looking back on them, is the fact that there's a very often used formula of someone finding out who Damien is, that person telling Damien's parents, uncle, girlfriend, whatever, they don't believe that person is then killed, then only at the end do the person believe what the actual truth, and that is too late for them. So, meh. It does, the three films, the three films go through all this all the time, and it really is repetitive, and it really makes me mad. The fact that it was good subject matter, it was a very good story, but as it goes on, it gets so flipping boring. It really gets boring. And you're like, yeah, okay, right, what's the body count in this one? And the final conflict itself, I mean, for a matter of fact, I mean, the knives that was meant to exterminate Damien's soul, per se, end up in the hands of these monks. Monks. Really, are you fucking kidding me? Okay, they're men of peace, they're spiritually pure, blah, blah, blah. They're not exactly, great combatists, are they? Come on. And one by one, they all get, killed in one way or another. Not necessarily by Damien, but by accidents. I mean, these guys were so accident prone. I mean, the one about trying to assassinate Thorne at this BBC studio, and then he falls off the rafters, gets his foot caught, gets set on fire, ending looking up like a bit of KFC. He did, I could go a bit KFC now. Anywho, it just seems really, really a poor bit of storytelling. What else was I going to say? Yeah, the remake of the Omen, I'll briefly talk about. That I found was a pretty good remake. It was pretty decent. The character of Damien was even better than the original. The kid actually spoke a few lines and he did look fucking terrifying. I mean, this kid was like, ooh, you feel like I could feel my bladder turning into ice when I saw that kid. It was so creepy. And the supporting cast were really good. David Thur, again, as the photographer Jennings, a really good performance. The suspense was more successful, and the pace of the storytelling was a lot more quicker, whereas, again, with the originals, they were, right, like exposition, blah, 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 a lot of boring parts, And then you would have maybe one of the characters, getting killed in strange and unusual ways. But the remake was really good. So that's all I'm going to talk about this time. And if you got any suggestions about what other movies you'd like to talk about, well, just leave a comment below. And thanks for visiting. Come back soon, or I will come and visit you. Bye.